So get comfortable because this video is going to take a while. And let me just say this before I get into this video. I'm doing this video based on some woman, someone, and I have to say particularly a woman who has walked the same shoes as I, and right now she may need some comfort. She may need some form of understanding just to be able to relate to whatever it is, the disconnect that she feels right now, the pain and hurt that she feels right now. She needs to be able to relate to someone who is experiencing it or has gone through a lot of the things that she's going through. And so with that being said, that's really the reason that I decided to make this video. I could care less about how you judge me, how you feel about me, in spite of, it doesn't matter to me, period, because I'm human. And in the process of being human, we all experience things in life. So you can say what you want. And 9 times out of 10, some of you have experienced it, but you're just not brave enough to tell your story, or you just too worried about what people think about you. I care less what people think about me, because at the end of the day, this has been my journey. I have endured and persevered, and I'm woman enough to say that I got through it. I got through a lot of things, and I'm still holding on, and I'm still trying to be a model for my children and an example. So at the end of the day, I don't care what anybody says. This is my life's journey, and God has taken me through some highs and lows, and I just want to help somebody. So, here goes. So let's get into it. As a lot of you know, I was engaged, and I really thought at that moment in my life I was completely happy. I thought that God was working in the both of our lives. I thought that this was going to be the man that I marry, who I bear children for, and some of that came true and some of it didn't. Anyhow, after knowing this man for almost 3 years, there's been so many trials and tribulations throughout our entire relationship. I can only be honest with you and tell you that we've had our good times and we've had our bad times. But a lot of the things that I experienced with him, I shouldn't have never experienced. And I don't think that that was true, genuine love and care if you could treat someone the way that he had treated me at times. A lot of the things that he had did to me, he made excuses for. He made excuses based on the life that he was involved in, the worldly life that he was involved in, the drugs, the women, that he had treated me like this because of the state of mind that he was in, and the fact that he was involved in things that altered what he was doing to me, that altered his capabilities or his character as a person. This is what he told me, and this is what I believed. And I did believe that he was going through a stage to where he was very depressed, and that he had a lot of things that he had bottled up inside of him, and that he did have some things in his life or growing up, that did hinder him or that he allowed to hinder him and to be an emotional barrier to keep him suppressed and not try to be a better person or and treat people how he would want to be treated. I think that he did at some point know how to be emotionally manipulative, and he did know how to use that for his own reasons, selfish reasons. But I do think at some point emotionally he did go through a hard time in his life. But we all go through hard times, and we don't hurt people who genuinely care and love us. And that's just the way I feel. I've been through hard times and situations in my life. And if I had somebody in my life who was caring and loving and sincere and wanted me to be better and wanted me to be healthier mentally and spiritually, I'd really appreciate them. I'd really love them and reciprocate that and give them the same thing in return. But as you know, they say hurt people hurt people. And I believe that. I'm a true believer that someone who's hurting will continue to hurt you. So, let's fast forward. After all of those situations where I was disappointed by him, by all of the things that and situations he created that was not a part of my life. My life was, I wanted better. I wanted a family. I wanted a future that I can be proud of. I wanted to set example to my daughter and my future children, which I know that someday God would bless me with, and he did. I wanted to not be a product of my society, what I was used to, what I knew of. Like, I wanted to have a real life with this man, and I wanted to have him be a part of every accomplishment. I wanted to be a part of every accomplishment that he had, and just both of us not be an example of, or a bad example of what we endured and what we came from, but to actually use that to our advantage, turn that around and be an example for our children, and to live a life that we both deserve, that I feel that we both deserve. So anyway, as I said, I was engaged to him, and I thought that we had reached a point where that was no longer. He was no longer caught in that life and in this worldly living, and he really wanted to he was genuinely apologetic to me, and he wanted to show me that he could be a better man to me and be a better example to my daughter. Although my daughter was almost grown or whatever, she was still a teenager when he came in my life. And I just thought that he was genuine for me and my daughter, just as I was genuine for him and his son. I really loved that kid, and I loved him. Anyway, so he got in a situation where, and a lot of men or I could say people in general. I'm not going to say men, but people in general. You think you have people by your side until everything hits the fan, right? Well, he got incarcerated, and all of those people that he was associated with, they weren't there. He didn't receive any letters. He didn't, have anybody there to financially help him through his situation. He didn't have anybody who was just checking up on him to make sure he was okay. And throughout that whole time, I'm riding. Throughout that whole time, I'm like, I'm here. I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to be here. And I was there. I was there through everything, And this wasn't any mediocre situation. He was facing like some real time, some serious time. And I feel that when you really, genuinely, wholeheartedly love somebody, you don't just pack up and leave them because of a situation. When I say to you, I love you, I mean it wholeheartedly. And I express it. And I don't just pack up and leave due to a situation. I trust God. I trust God, and I trust that everything is going to be okay. And that's how I felt. Did I know that everything was going to be okay? No. But I wanted to give him that hope, and I needed to also encourage myself that this is only a milestone. We'll get through this together. So, like I said, I was the only person there for him. I was, and I'm really speaking modestly about it. It was hard. It was hard trying to, on the outside, if you've ever been with somebody who was incarcerated, on the outside, I'm trying to build a life for us. I'm trying to continue to stay on the right track and continue to do what was necessary so that we can be established when you come home, or at least set the platform for us to continue so we can engage into a better life for, both of us together. So I was doing what was necessary, which was building my business. And he was very much a part of that. I felt that this man was going to be my husband, and we were going to do great things together. And a part of that was having this business and having it go as far as possible, and him not being involved in some of the things that he was involved in that was causing him, that was compromising his future, that was constantly compromising his future and his freedom. I felt that I loved him enough to want to keep him out of those streets. I loved him enough to want him to have better for him and his son. And overall, for him to not ever experience going back to jail or to prison. Period. So I did what was necessary in the outside world. While doing that, I'm here for you. I'm making weekend visits. I'm making weekly visits while holding down 2 jobs, and having other, hustles. I'm trying to do all this at once and be there for this man, and financially be there for you, because he didn't have that. And to be there emotionally, even though it put a lot of strain on me, I still continue to carry whatever burdens that he had as my own, because I think that was sincere love. I was sincere. As I said, I'm sorry, y'all. Give me 1 minute. Somebody's knocking on the door. Who is it? Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Take care, ma'am. You too. Okay, y'all. So I'm back. I'm sorry. Had to get the door. Okay. So if y'all still with me, let's continue. Where did I leave off at? I think I left off at just, yeah. I was really genuine. It was a lot of strain on me. Yet when you love somebody wholeheartedly, whatever whatever they go through, you go through. And that's a partnership. That's the way I look at it. That's a partnership. And if you're blessed to have someone who can give you the same thing back, then you've been blessed. And that's just how I feel. Somebody who can reciprocate those same actions. So anywho, he came home. And he came home with another case. He still had a case on him. And as I said, he was looking at some serious time. And we doing everything we need to do. Make sure we can get a lawyer. Make sure we can try to, we hustling and trying to have enough money outside of the money that we had or had, at that time for our business. We doing everything in our power to also pay bills and have enough money saved for him to have a lawyer. It was a lot of strain. It was a lot of strain. It was a lot of stress. And when he went to court and that case was dismissed, it was just like a weight lifted. It was just like, wow, oh my God, God is good. Thank you, God. And it was just like, baby, I told you. It was like, I knew that God was working overtime. I knew that you would get through this. I knew that everything was going to be okay. And I felt that now this is our time. This is our time to let that life go. And let's go on and be great. Let's go on and be great together. And let's go on and do what we initially set out to do. Let's go ahead and open this business. Let's go ahead and just go on and be great. We can do this together, And I don't feel that was his intentions. I really feel like, okay, she was there. She was there for when I needed her. Now, this is done. This is over with. And this is my time to be free. So before I get into that, let me just speak on me and how I felt and what I thought at the time. So during this time, or a little bit before that time, I had found out that I was pregnant. He was there when I took the pregnancy test, and we were just we were overjoyed. It was like, look at what God is doing. Look how good God is, And this was huge for me because I hadn't had children in over 20 years. And I'm like, finally, I'm having kids with someone that I really love. I really just who I want to be with forever. Finally, I'm having children by this person. And we can share all these great moments together. And so I felt that he felt the same way. And let me just say that when you're the man of the house and you have a responsibility to make sure your family is secure. You have a responsibility to make sure that you do all you can to secure your family. And at this time, I feel that I'm deserving of that. I've been there for you through thick and thin. I've stood by you through every hardship you've encountered. So I deserve the same in return. So during this time frame, guys, or what initially was the breaking point for him, as I understand it, because this didn't come from him, it came from word of mouth, okay? Or his opportunity to get away was when we had a brawl because of what he was doing. I'm not going to linger on and tell you, or you know what, I think I should. But when somebody forgives you for what you've done to them, and you're genuinely sorry about what you've done to them, don't just expect them to, I think that people want you to just totally forget about what they did to you. They want you to forget that it was a time where you really, really hurt me. It was a time where I had nothing to believe in, yet I still believed and entrusted in you. So give me time. Give me time and acknowledge that I'm still loving you in spite of all of the shitty things that you've done to me. I'm still loving you. I'm still supportive of you. I'm still giving you all of me, the best of me. And at this point, I can't honestly say that I've forgotten everything you've done to me. And I may never forget, but I'm choosing to forgive you. But don't just expect me to not remember those things that you've done to me. If you really care and you're really sorry about what you've done, then you'll continue to show me and continue to give me the love that I require and that I deserve. So anywho, it was like, I'm looking for a reason. I just need a reason to leave. I don't know what the reason is going to be, but I'm going to find a reason to leave. And that's what I felt. That's what I felt, and that's what I still feel. He needed a reason to leave. So we got into this brawl because, as I said, and you're a man, you got a baby on the way. At this time, I didn't know I was having twins. It was too early on to know. But we just knew that we were expecting. And you say you know you want to spend the rest of your life with me, then your family, which is me and your children, your main concern should be making sure we secure, we good. And I didn't feel that, guys, because I could tell you, basically, if you're more worried about your needs, like you're more worried about alcohol and I can't say drugs because I don't know if he was involved in drugs. Do I feel that he had gotten back involved? A little bit. I think he did when he went off and left for 2 days. Yeah, I think he may have, but I wasn't there, so I cannot place that blame on him. I can't dictate and say that's what he did. But I can definitely say that I seen you go into the store, come out of the store with alcohol, with 2 bottles of alcohol, when I'm pregnant and we're working together. We're trying to do what we can. You've just recently been released. It hadn't been too long that he hadn't been incarcerated. So we're working together to secure our life and to secure our home. And your concern is buying alcohol, and there's things that we need in the home. There's things that I need. Yes, I was upset about that. And I have every right to be upset about that. When you have a family, your family comes first. You know? And I've always been that type. My family comes first. My children come first. My household comes first. That's selfish to put your needs before your responsibility to your family. And when I seen that, it changed a lot in me about how I felt about him as a man. It's things that we need. Granted, you know this. And you're going to go spend money on alcohol. So that's what our brawl was about. It was about that. And I had a reason to feel that way. Somebody I've sacrificed for. Somebody I've went without to make sure you was good. And you worried about drinking right now. And we need things in the home. I can't feel that. And I definitely can't feel that for somebody who knows that I deserve way more than that. So we have this brawl and whatever, and I'm thinking he's going to his dad's house. Y'all with me? I'm thinking that he's going to his dad's house. And he did. He went to his dad's house, supposedly. And it was maybe one conversation where he actually checked on me. He's like, I wasn't fit. And at this time, I wasn't feeling well. And I had been experiencing a lot of nausea and stuff at that time. And he texted, and he was just like, are you okay? And how do you feel? And I'm telling him how I feel. And in the process, I was telling him, hey, I was really afraid of what had taken place that night. I was really afraid for my life. And I just think that I need to be a little bit more focused on me right now. I'm feeling like, hey, he'll understand that. We'll come to some common ground. maybe we need a little time, a little space, and we can work on what needs to be worked on separately, just for a little while. Just we need a little break. And that's how I felt. That's not how he felt. I wasn't talking to any other guys. I wasn't trying to see any other guys. And that was not my intention. My intention was, let's just take a breather. So days go by, and he's not texting me nor calling me, checking on me, anything, nothing. When he did actually reach out to me, it was not about me. It was about something petty. Anywho, I'm like, wow. Like, I'm in disbelief. Like, this dude is not even worried about me or our baby. He's not worried about neither. So I took it for what it was worth. I continued to do what I needed to do. And I'm just thinking, whatever is going to happen at this point is going to happen. So how on my end, how everything hit the fan was when, and I asked him several times, I asked him where he was. I asked him, was he with another woman? He said no. He told me no, he wasn't with another woman. He told me that he just wanted to help himself. Insinuating that wherever he was trying to get some help to get himself on track. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Until the phone he had previously given me was linked to his Google account. Mind you, when you have a phone that's linked to your Google account, which I didn't know this until this situation, but when you have a phone that's linked to your Google account, any contacts that you add to your phone is going to show up in your Google contacts. So during this time that I'm not speaking to him, or he's not speaking to me, during this time, all of a sudden, before, or this could have been after, he blocked me from his social media accounts, to where, like, it was just so blunt. Like, I hadn't done anything to him that would make me feel that you would take it this far. So and not know about the health and well-being of me nor this pregnancy, to know what was going on. So I was in disbelief. I was even amazed that he can treat me like that, based on all that we had been through and all that we had experienced. So he blocked me on his social media accounts. I had no direct contact to him whatsoever. And then at that point, as I'm saying, I'm literally just going through my phone, the phone that he had given me. And all of a sudden, I see a contact that says my wife. Mind you, it's only been like a week and a half that we've been broken up. Or I wouldn't even say broken up, because he just left. It was like he didn't even have a conversation with me as a man. Nothing. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what was taking place, what was going on. It just like it hit me. So he had left, and he apparently had moved in with this woman. And he didn't know her. She didn't know him. And he uploaded the contact in the Google account as my wife, my queen. I'm like, whoa. And there's a picture of him and her with his tongue in his tongue is in her mouth. Her tongue is in his mouth. And I'm like, you cannot be serious. This is not happening. Like, all of the things that me and this man has been through, all of the things that we persevered through, you had cases on you to where no one was there but me, and I stood by you firmly, trusted and believed and loved you unconditionally. Been there for you through not just that, but throughout this whole almost 3 years. You've needed me. I've stood by your side, you know? So when that happened, y'all, I'm like, he never told me he was with somebody. He never told me he had moved on. I found out through the Google contacts. Like, I wasn't even looking for it. And you know when they say, when God wants you to know something, he'll show you. You don't have to go looking. He'll show you. And honestly, I wanted to know. I wanted to know what was going on because I was asking him and he was telling me, oh, it's not another woman or whatever. I just need to get my life together and on track. And so seeing that, it hurt. It hurt to no point in return. I was in disbelief that he could even do that to me. Like, we had been, at the point of an extent that our relationship had made it to, it was just no way that I could believe that he can go this far, or that he would ever have the intentions to break me in that way, that he would hurt me in that way. But he did. And I think he did it without a conscience. I think he met this woman. He knew nothing about her. He's seen an opportunity. He's seen convenience. And he jumped on it. Because if you moving in with the woman after a few days, because that's where he was living, where I was asking him, hey, can you call? Like, why are you texting? When he wanted to so-called talk, or when we were talking, why are you texting? It was only a few days after knowing this lady that you had moved in, and me knowing how he operates. This was an opportunity for him, and he took it. And she was easy prey. But this is nothing against her. It's just I know him and his mentality, or how he was in the past, and what he told me that he had been delivered from, that he had no longer had any need to want to go back to. This was just how he operated. He got with women based on his needs and what he needed and how he was trying to survive. And he told me these things. He outright told me, hey, this is how I survive. This is what I know. He outright told me that. And never for a minute did I believe that through all of this that God had brought us through, at this point, that you could still be that type of person. Anyway, so I'm sorry, y'all. Forgive the lighting in the video. The sun has went down a little, so my video has gotten a little dark. But anyway, so since then, let's fast forward even more. Here I am with only a month and a half left until I give birth to our twins. I've not heard from him since February, y'all. I've not heard from this man since February. And he knows the health problems that I have. He knows that this pregnancy was a high-risk pregnancy. He knows all of this. And he knows because I was in contact with someone that he knows. So he knows that this pregnancy was high risk. He knows that I've been hospitalized. Not one time. Forget that you made it in your mind to want to move on and be with somebody else. That's fine. But you have a responsibility as a man. You have a responsibility, at least, if you have some type of heart, to at least check on me and this pregnancy and see how everything is going. He has did none of that. He's not been any type of support to me. I'm talking about a simple message, guys. I'm talking about a simple message that says, hey, how are you? How are the babies? Is everything okay? I haven't even gotten a simple message from him going all the way back from February to now. So this is bigger than a female. This is bigger than you being with another woman. This is just common concern for somebody who stood by you through your lowest points. I can never ever look at this man in the same way. I could never have the same love for him. I could never ever want him in my life. And I could never want to be, I don't feel the same connection that I had to him before all of this happened. Because to me, you have to be the most hateful person to treat somebody like that who was the only one there for you when you had no one. And that hurts, because that's a bond that I thought that we really genuinely shared. So I just want to say this though. Throughout that time, I had to wipe my own tears. Throughout that time, I had to really love myself. Throughout that time, I had to persevere. I had to press on. I had to focus on my babies. I had to focus on still. I didn't even have an opportunity to understand or really just take a break or breather from what was going on. I had to keep pressing on. I didn't have a chance to say, this is what's going on. You know, I just need a break from everything. I had to persevere. I had to keep going. I had to make sure bills were still getting paid in regards to how I felt most of the time. And a lot of the times I didn't feel well. A lot of the times I did have some complications. But I kept going. And even now I'm almost due and I'm still pressing on. And it's been hard. And I've not had a support system that I think I should have. But God has been good. He's been amazing. And he's really, really, throughout this time, he's really shown me what he's made of. Throughout this time, I learned to really, truly not accept what I'm not given. I've given so much that I had to really learn, and it was a learning experience, that I was capable and more deserving than anything to have somebody who can give me the same things that I give. And also to not leave when things get a little bit hard. Run. You start running when we have, not even when things get a little bit hard, but we have one or two issues and you gone. That's not love. And that's definitely not a man. And I deserve more than that. I need more than that. And with all that I accomplished on my own, I was willing to share these things with him. I wanted to share these things with him, our children, our family. But God said no. God said you deserve more. You deserve a love that is everlasting. And that's what I want, and that's what I will have. So